Hello and welcome to Rahman Digital Production. In the first part of this lecture, we will learn how to insert a single row, a group of rows into the table. So let's get started with the insert into statement. We use insert into statement to insert data into a table. In this regard, we will learn three techniques. SQLite provides various forms of insert statement. We can insert a single row or multiple rows in a table. In addition, we can insert a row into a table using data provided by a select statement. These are the three techniques we can perform with a table. So let's start with inserting a single row. We will use the insert into and then we will write the table in which we want to insert a row. We will write first, which is not mandatory. You can skip this part of employee ID, F name, last name and salary. But this is good to understand that which field will be inserted first and which field will be inserted second and so on. So we are writing the fields of this employee ID. Here we are saying that employee ID is the first field, first name is the second field, last name third and salary the fourth field. Values will be inserted as 32. So this will go to the employee ID. Mahnur will go to the first name and Malays will go to the last name, and similarly 4378 will go to the salary. Let us do that in the DB browser practically. Here I open the database I created for practice. In this there is a table which is called employees. So now let us discuss the structure of that. Right clicking and browse data will show you that how many fields and what data is inside this table. So we can see that there are 31 rows inside it. The last one is Sohail Akhtar, whose salary is this one. So let's insert a single row with the employee ID 32. For that, we are writing a command inside the SQL. So here it is. I have written this command insert into, and that is the table name employees, and employee ID, first name, last name, salary will be inserted with the values 32, Mahnur, Malays, and 4378 as discussed in the slide. Let's run and see the effect of this command. I am executing this command and it is executed successfully, and let us see that whether this data is inserted inside the table or not. So here I am browsing the data, and as you can see that 32 Mahnur Malays is inserted inside the data. So that was the example of inserting a single row. Now let's discuss the concept of inserting multiple rows. Inserting multiple rows, here I can write insert into employees, F name, last name, salary, the same which was the first, but I am putting a comma and writing another command. This Lukman will go to the first name and Rashid will go to the last name, and 4000 will go to the salary, and similarly these records will also go to the specified field. Now you will be wondering that where is employee ID? There is no employee ID as it was in this case, because employee ID is auto incremented number. So when you are inserting first name and last name, a value for employee ID will automatically be inserted. So you can skip that as well. You must have to remember that auto increment field can be skipped and other data should be entered. Let us discuss this in the SQL DB browser. Dear learners, I have written the command in the same fashion. Let us run it and see the effect of this command on the table. Here you must have to understand that we have 32 records inside that, and this Mashai, this sane will be 33, this will be 34, and this will be 35. So let us run and see the effect. Yes, this is successfully executed. So now I am going to the database structure and see the employees table, browse table, and you can see that 33, 34 and 35 are inserted as the new values. So in this way we can insert many records inside a table. Now let's understand further concept that how can we insert rows in a table. Okay, so we can insert a default value as well. Now if you are inserting values for a field and most of the values referring to one particular string. For example, I am entering city and most of the city is from Islamabad or Peshawar. So I can insert a default value instead of writing again and again Peshawar, which will waste our time. So I can insert the default value for a field like this one Peshawar. So creating a table and then I will insert the default values inside it. So let us discuss this. Create table customers. I am creating a new table with the name customers, and there will be a field customer ID whose data type is integer. It will be a primary key, and auto increment property will also be associated with it. Whenever we insert a record, automatically the customer ID will be inserted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The second field is customer name and whose data type is text. The third is city, and that is the default value Peshawar. Now if you want to insert this default value into a table, then you have to use insert into customer default values, and this will insert Peshawar for every newly entered record. Let's do that practical in the DB browser. Dear learner, I have written those two statements into a single cell. That is, first it will create the table customer and then it will insert the default value inside it, and let us run this code and see that whether customers table is creating or not, and the first row will be inserted with the default value Peshawar as indicated here. So let us run it. Yes, we executed the command successfully. Now I am going to the data structure and see, yes, customer table is created, and now browse the data. Another record with Peshawar 1. You can write the customer name later, but you are inserting a default value for the city. Let us run this command once more, but this time I am deleting this area because every time the table will not be created. It will be created only once. So let us run it once, twice, and thrice. So three default more rows are inserted, and let us see the effects in customers. And I am clicking on browse data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Peshawar is inserted as a default value. So you will not be able to write it again and again. Remember that you can change the value from here. You can write Islamabad, you can write Karachi, you can write New York, you can write London, but the default value will be Peshawar. Let me write it as London. So it is inserted and it will be accepted. But to save the time, because most of my customers are from Peshawar, so again and again writing Peshawar will waste our time. That is, we took the default value as Peshawar. Let's move further to the slide and learn more techniques. This time I am learning inserting new rows with the data provided by the select statement. Dear learners, this type of solution is handy in situation where you want to take the backup of a table. Let us do that practically. First, let us understand the command. I want to take the backup of employee table. So I am creating a new table with the same order, with the same name of the employee tables. This is employee backup, and I am creating those fields which were available inside the employee table, and then I am inserting into employees backup table, but this time multiple rows. Select employee ID, F name, last name, salary from employees. So all the records of employees table will be selected, and that will be inserted into the employees backup table. Let's do that practically. Dear students, you can see that I have written the command exactly in the same fashion. This time I'm also creating two different statements into a single cell. This will be executed first and this will be executed second. So let's see whether we can be able to create employees backup and select all the data from the employees table and put it inside it. So it will be considered as a backup one. Let's execute it. Yes, we executed it successfully. Now let us study the structure, and here you can see that I have created employees backup, and let us see that whether all the records of 35 employees are here or not. Yes, so you can insert in a table data provided by the select statement from other table. That is a very important technique you can use. Now let's learn another technique, and that is deleting a row or a group of rows. In the first case, we are deleting a row for the employee 35 employee ID. For example, if an employee is leaving this organization, so we want to remove that employee from the organization list. For that purpose, we are using delete from employees, where employee ID is 35. Let us first do this, and going to the DB browser. Dear student, let us first observe that whether in employees table there is a value of 35 is available or not. Yes, it is available. Let us run this command where I am ordering through SQL statement that delete from employees where employee ID is 35. So here I am running this command and it is executed successfully. Now we will check that whether employees table is having 35. No, it is not. 34 is only there and it is deleted. Similarly, we can delete multiple rows at a time as well. For example, if I want to delete all the rows which are greater than 31 employees ID, those records will be deleted whose employee ID is greater than 31, that is 32, 33 and 34 will be deleted. 35 is already deleted with a single row statement execution. Now let us run it and see that whether all those records are deleted or not. So here I am seeing that only 31 is here and 32, 33, 34 and so on are deleted. So that was the whole story about delete a single row or multiple rows based on the condition. Let us check one more type, and that is I want to delete all the records from a table. So here I am writing that delete from employees backup. So it will delete all the records. Remember that it will not delete the table, it will delete all the rows inside that table. First of all, let us see that whether in employees backup rows are there. Yes, 35 rows are there. And now let us execute this command. Let us run this command and it is successfully executed without any error. And now let us check the database structure. So employees backup file will have no row. All the rows are deleted from this. Now the next very important topic is that we want to delete a table, the entire table. We deleted the rows of a table, but it doesn't mean that we have deleted all the rows including the table. No, the rows are deleted, table will be there, structure will be there, you can insert new values inside it. But if you want to delete the entire table from the database structure, then you can use this command. Let us execute this command and I will show you that how. You have to write only drop table and then you have to write the name, and that is employees backup. It is in the list, so you double click it and enclose it. So when I execute this command, then you will see that there is no table with the name employees backup. So drop table is used to delete the entire table structure along with the data. Keep in mind, while using these delete command, be very much careful. There is no way to undo the records inside the SQLite. Once it is deleted, it will be deleted forever. So before deleting a row, you must be dead sure that this row or group of rows are no longer needed. So you saw that deleting a table is achieved by draw table employees backup. That was the whole story for today's lecture. Thank you very much for your time. Allah Hafiz.